Shiva Puranam, Rudra Samhita, Sati Khanda, Chapter 20, Festivities of Sati's Marriage. Narada said, O Brahma, O Lord, you have narrated the surprising type of the benevolent story of Shiva. O dear one, what happened thereafter? You kindly carry on the narration of the divine story of Shiva and Sati, which relieves one of all the sins. Brahma said, Shiva, who is always kind to his devotees, when failed to kill me, then all the gods sages became fearless and comforted. All of them, then lowering their heads, folding their hands, started offering their salutation, besides shouting the slogans of the victory of Shiva with devotion. O excellent sage, at that point of time, I, feeling fearless and delighted, offered prayers to Shiva with great devotion. Then Lord Shiva, who engages himself in several types of sports, spoke in presence of all. Shiva said, O dear one, O Brahma, I am quite happy. You be fearless now. At my command, you touch your head with your hands. Brahma said, listening to the words of Shiva, who performed several types of sports, I offered my salutation to Shiva, touching my head with my hands. The moment I touched my head with my hands, I became the bull, his vehicle. I felt ashamed. All the gods who had been surrounding me looked at this event. Finding myself with the form of a bull, I felt ashamed and sat aside, covering my head. Then I felt ashamed and, offering my salutation to Shiva, offered prayer to him, begging forgiveness. I said, O Lord, you kindly tell me some repentance to free myself from the sin. Even killing is justifiable. May my sin be removed thereby. When I spoke these words, Lord Shiva was pleased with me and spoke to me, being the one who is benevolent to his devotees. Shiva said, in this very form of a bull, which happens to be my vehicle, you perform penance with a delightful heart and desire for propitiating me. You will be known in the world as Rudrashira, Rudrashira, and shall bring to success all the tasks of the Brahmanas. Besides, you have dropped your semen here, which is the conduct of the people. Therefore, becoming a human, you wander on earth. A person who, looking at your this form, will wander on earth would say, how has Rudra's head been fixed over the head of Brahma? Whosoever will listen to this event with surprise, he will discard the company of the wife of others and shall achieve salvation. When the people will discuss about your misconduct, you shall be relieved of the related sin. O Brahma, this is the repentance prescribed by me for your sin, by which all the people would laugh at you and talk about your misdeed, denouncing you at the same time. Becoming lustful when your semen fell on the ground and had been seen by me, it shall not be retained by anyone. The 4 drops of semen which fell on the ground, the similar number of clouds causing dissolution, shall appear in the sky. In the meantime, at these words of Shiva, in full view of the gods and the sages, an equal number of clouds emanated from the semen of Brahma. O dear one, 4 types of huge clouds which caused destruction were known as Samavartaka and Avarta, the Pushkara and the Drona. O excellent sage, those clouds were resembling and roaring with terrific sound, dropped showers at the slightest wish of Shiva, and were burst in the sky. When the clouds started thundering in the sky, then Lord Shiva with Sati became calm and peaceful. O excellent sage, thereafter I, becoming fearless at the command of Shiva, completed the remaining rites of the marriage. O excellent sage, at that point of time, all the gods, having been filled with pleasure, dropped the rain of flowers over Shiva and Sati. The musical instruments were surrounded the musical instruments were sounded at that time, besides the singing, while the Brahmanas were reciting the hymns from the Vedas with devotion. O Narada, the Apsaras like Rambha and others started dancing, and while doing so, they performed great festivities with the wives of the gods. Thereafter, Lord Parameshwara, observing the people's traditions, said to me delightfully with folded hands. Shiva said, O Brahma, you have well performed all the rites of the marriage. Since you are the priest, what should I give you as dakshina? O Brahma, though it is beyond the reach of the people, still you will please speak out. O exalted one, there is nothing which cannot be given to you. Brahma said, O excellent sage, when Shiva spoke these words with folded hands, I, becoming humble, said to Shiva repeatedly. Brahma said, O Lord of gods, in case I am suitable enough to receive a boon, and in case you are pleased with me, O Maheshwara, then you do whatever I want you to do with pleasure. O Maheshwara, you in this form remain present over this pedestal, always for the destruction of the sins of the people. O Shiva, O God with crescent moon over the head, by this I would be able to perform tapas, making an ashrama in your vicinity in order to destroy my sins. A person who will have an audience with you on the bright 13th day of the month of Chaitra with devotion, O Shiva, you shall destroy his sins at the same time. Let his virtues be increased, and he should be free from all the ailments. A woman who is barren, one eyed, ugly, or unfortunate after her visit to this place be freed from all the shortcomings. Brahma said, listening to my words, which bestow all types of comforts, Shiva said delightfully, all right, be it so. O Brahma, at your words, and also for the welfare of all, I shall be seated at this pedestal with Sati. Brahma said, thus speaking, Lord Shiva, in his partial form, was seated over the pedestal with his wife. Thereafter, getting leave of Daksha Prajapati, Parameshwara Shiva, who is benevolent over his devotees, got ready to get back to his abode with his wife. In the meantime, the humble and wise Daksha prayed to Shiva with folded hands and eulogized Shiva in reverence. Besides Vishnu, with gods and sages also offered prayers to Shiva, shouting slogans of his victory. With the permission of Daksha, both Shiva and Sati were mounted over the bull and proceeded towards the peak of Himalaya. Thereafter, Sati, mounted over the bull with Shiva, looked as graceful as the black line with the moon. After their departure, Vishnu and other gods, the great sages like Marichi and others, besides Daksha, were overpowered with illusion. Some people played on the musical instruments, some people sang the glory of Shiva and delightfully followed Shiva. Daksha Prajapati and others saw him off up to the halfway, and overwhelmed with the love of Shiva, they returned to their respective homes together with their attendants. Though Shiva had sent off Vishnu and other gods, but out of affection they went with Shiva. Together with the gods, his attendants, and Sati, his wife, Shiva delightfully reached his abode in Himalaya. Reaching there, Shiva bade farewell to all the gods and the sages with great respect, talking with Shiva, bowing in reverence to him, offering prayer to him. Vishnu and other gods, besides the sages, went to their respective places. Lord Shiva as well as Lord Shiva as well started living with pleasures with Sati, the daughter of Daksha, in Himalaya. O excellent sage, thereafter Shiva, the creator of the universe, together with Sati and his attendants, feeling pleased, went to his abode in Kailasa. I have narrated the story of the marriage of Shiva during the time of Swayambhuva Manu as had happened earlier. The one who listens to the story of Shiva's marriage quite carefully, adoring him at the time of marriage, his marriage, and all other rites are performed without any obstruction. By listening to this story, a girl achieves pleasure of having fortunes, excellent humility, noble conduct, and chastity, besides getting a son. इति श्री शिव महापुराणे द्वितीयायां रुद्र संहितायां द्वितीये सती खंडे सती विवाह वर्णनं नाम विंशोऽध्यायः. Chapter 21, Sports of Shiva and Sati. Narada said, O dear one, O sinless one, listening to your appropriate and astonishing types of words concerning the auspicious story of Shiva and Sati, we feel delighted. The marriage of Shiva, which removes the confusion of all and is filled with immense knowledge, which bestows all the benevolence, has been heard by us. O immensely learned one, I have developed a desire to listen to the story of Shiva again, which is beyond comparison. Therefore, you continue to narrate the same. Brahma said, O excellent sage, O noble one, you have inspired me to speak about the story of Shiva. Further, which I am going to narrate, he is extremely compassionate. After the marriage of Shiva with Sati, the mother of the three worlds, he returned to his place, and what happened thereafter, you please listen from me. Then Shiva, accompanied with his ganas, reached his blissful place and got down from Nandi. O Narada, Shiva, after entering his place with Sati, was immensely delighted, being well versed in the worldly practices. Getting Sati, Shiva asked his attendants and Nandi to go to the mountain cave. Shiva, who was well versed with the worldly traditions, spoke to Nandi and other attendants quite sweetly. Shiva said, O my attendants, with minds respectfully concentrated in thinking upon me, you should come to me whenever I remember you. At these words of Vamadeva, the valorous Ganas retired to their respective places. After their departure, when Shiva was left alone with Sati, Shiva felt extremely delighted, enjoying many sports with her. He sometimes collected some sylvan flowers and made a beautiful garland out of them and put it around the neck of Sati as a substitute for a necklace. When Sati was appreciating her face by looking into the mirror, Shiva arrived from the backside and looked at his own face through the same mirror. At times he played with her earrings, sometimes he removed them from the ears of Sati, and the next moment he adorned her ears with the same ear ornaments. Sometimes Shiva made the red feet of Sati completely red with the application of the red dye. The words which could be spoken quite loudly in the presence of others, Shiva whispered them in her ears with greed to have a look at her face. Shiva never moved away from Sati, but in case he did so, he would return suddenly and close her eyes from behind, and while she was thinking about something else, he would ask her his name. With the use of his illusion, Shiva would sometimes become invisible and suddenly embrace her, making her terrified and agitated. Sometimes he would draw a painting of the buds of lotus flowers resembling the bees over her breasts with mask which appeared like the golden lotus. Sometimes he would remove the necklace worn by her and press the breasts with his hands. Sometimes Shiva would remove the bracelets, bangles, as well as the finger rings from the limbs and then replace them at the proper places one by one. Even when she was looking on, sometimes he would touch her lofty breast, saying smilingly, "This dark spot on your breast is your companion of the same color, as it contains the same letters as are found in your name." Sometimes, when he was exceedingly excited with love, he would exchange love sports with his beloved. Sometimes Shiva brought beautiful lotus and other flowers and decorated them as ornaments over the body of Sati. Shiva, who is well disposed with his devotees, accompanied with Sati, kept on sporting in the mountain and bowers. Shiva never went anywhere without Sati, nor did he engage himself in any activity without her. Why to speak much, he never felt comfortable without her. In this way, after roaming about in the mountain bowers of Kailasa, remembering the god of love, both of them reached the Himalaya mountain. With the arrival of Kamadeva before Shiva and coming to know of the desire of Shiva, Vasanta too expanded his form. All the trees and the creepers were sprouted, and the black wasps started hovering over them. With the arrival of the spring season, the pleasing, fragrant breeze started flowing. Like the crescent moon of the evening time, the Palasha flowers looked beautiful. The flowers blossoming in the trees appeared like the arrows of the god of love. The blossoming lotus flowers in the lakes looked quite charming. The fragrant wind god was getting ready to captivate all. The Nagakeshara trees, Meshua, Roxburghi, with yellow flowers, resembled the banner of Kamadeva, appeared too close to Shiva. The close creeper issued fragrance that filled the air, captivated the passionate people first of all. The good-looking black wasps creating humming sound over the mango and sali trees appeared like the open conches. As the minds of the sage become spotless with the light of the knowledge, similarly, at that point of time, the spotless clean water appeared beautiful. The snow was melting with the fall of the sun rays and had started flowing, as a result of which the water of the lakes was getting reduced. The dew drops, on coming in contact with the sun rays, were turned in vapors, like the hearts of the people are purified in association with the noble people. At that point of time, Mahadeva, accompanied with Sati, sported over that mountain for a long time among the groves, bowers, and streams. O excellent sage, the daughter of Daksha appeared graceful at that point of time, roaming with Shiva, who too could not have mental peace without her even for a moment. The goddess Sati felt fully satisfied in the matter of conjugal pleasure and seemed to have entered the body of Shiva. Shiva too, making the garlands of flowers by himself, decorated the limbs of Sati. Shiva appeared to be displaying his competence with diverse conversation, pleasant glances, jovial words, exchange of smiles, by which he was introducing himself to Sati. Drinking the nectar from her moon-like face, Shiva stabilized his body. Sometimes he experienced exhilarating and particularly pleasing state. Shiva appeared to have been bound with the sweet fragrance of the lotus-like face of Sati, besides her beauty and jovial nature, as a huge elephant is bound with ropes. Thus, in the bowers and caverns of Himalaya, besides the caves, Shiva enjoyed conjugal pleasures with Sati, the daughter of Daksha, and while doing so, 25 divine years were passed. इति श्री शिव महापुराणे द्वितीयायां रुद्र संहितायां द्वितीये सती खंडे सती शिव क्रीडावर्णनं नामैकविंशोऽध्यायः. Chapter 22, Love Sports of Shiva and Sati over the Himalaya. Brahma said, while both Shiva and Sati were dwelling over the ridge of the Kailasa mountain, Sati, the daughter of Daksha, said to Shiva at the advent of the clouds. Sati said, O Lord of gods, O Shiva, my dear husband, O bestower of honor, you please listen to my words and do as desired by me. The unbearable rainy season has arrived. All the 10 directions have been covered with the clouds of rain. The winds are blowing forcefully, which are shaking the heart, and water drops mixed with the dust of the Kadamba tree have started falling. The clouds are thundering, the streams of water are falling, whose mind remains undisturbed with the thundering of the clouds with banners of lightning because of the clouds flying in the sky. Neither the sun nor the moon is visible. The day, which is painful for those separated in love, also looks like the night. O Shiva, the clouds which are thundering with the force of the wind appear like falling over the heads of the people. O Shiva, with the force of the wind, the huge trees appear like dancing in the sky. These trees frighten the cowards and delight the passionate people. The clouds, which are black like the collyrium, look graceful with the lines of sky larks flying in the sky, in the same way as the water foams float over the surface of the Yamuna water. O Shiva, the gold wristlet of my forearm looks at night like the blazing submarine fire. O Shiva, presently the new plants are sprouting over Mandrachala as well as in the courtyards of our place. What to speak of the other places? The Himalaya mountain near the Mandrachal mountain has been surrounded by black, red, and white clouds and appears charming like the ocean of milk surrounded by the birds, displaying the various types of beauties and surrounded by the Kimsuka Butia frondosa trees having flowers without fragrance, in the same way as Lakshmi goes to evil as well as the noble people in Kali Yuga without any discrimination. Listening to the thundering sound of the clouds of Madrachala, the peacocks, getting delighted, start dancing, bearing their backs. Their pleasant cackles and outstretched tails display the delight of their hearts. The sweet and pleasing sound of chataka, a kind of cuckoo birds, is being heard everywhere. The continuous fall of rain is causing trouble to the travelers. Look at the wickedness displayed by the clouds. They are dropping the hailstones over the peacocks, and the chataka birds are causing pain to them. On finding the distress from their friend the sun, the swans leave for the distant place, that is, the lake of Manasa on the mountain top. In the difficult times, even the crows, chakravak, Indian red flagged partridge, also make their nests. How could you remain peaceful without a home? O Shiva, I feel extremely frightened today. Therefore, you please arrange for the building of a house for me. You can make a house at Kailasa, Himalaya, or Kashi for living over the earth. Brahma said, having thus been advised by Sati, Shiva laughed again and again, and the place was illuminated with the crescent moon lodged over the head of Shiva. Thereafter, Shiva, who had been well aware of all the secrets, said to Sati in order to please her. Shiva said, O beloved, by dwelling in my heart, the place where I am going to build a house for you would be beyond the reach of the clouds. These clouds reach the middle region of the Himalaya even in the rainy season. O goddess, these clouds can never go above the middle region of Kailasa. They usually come only up to the foot of Kailasa. The clouds like Pushkaravartaka and others can reach up to the roots of the rose apple tree. Thus, I have mentioned about the best of the mountains. Now, you tell me quickly as to where do you want to live. The Anilavranda birds of the Himalaya, having golden feathers, living in the Himalaya, sing with high and sweet tones, will please you at the time of your sports. The Siddhas, beauties there, will please you, offering the gem studded seats at their own sweet will. They will also offer you various types of flowers. The damsels of the Nagar, the mountains, and Kinnaris would themselves help you at the time of your roaming about. The beautiful divine damsels, observing your beautiful face and beauty, thinking their own beauty to be of no consequence, would always stare at you. Menaka, the wife of Himalaya, the king of mountains, whose beauty is well known in the three worlds, would delight you very much with entities. The honorable ladies of the household of Himalaya would cause enormous delight to your gracious self. They would provide you useful advice, though you hardly need any, with pleasure daily. O beloved one, do you intend to go to a place filled with sweet notes of the cuckoos, and the place having the charms of the spring season? Or would you like to go to Himalaya, the king of the mountains, filled with lakes of cool water and the blossoming lotus flowers? Reaching there, you would come across Kalpavriksha, wish fulfilling tree, grassy lands, several types of flowers, elephants, horses, and herds of cows quite delightfully. In the Himalaya, even the wild and ferocious animals are calm. It is the place of several sages and ascetics. It is the abode of the gods, and one finds plenty of deer moving about here and there. It has the ramparts of glittering crystals, gold and silver. It has many lakes like the Manas and others. The birds and fully blown lotuses with golden stalks studded with gems are found in abundance. Besides, crocodiles, sharks, and tortoises abound in the lakes. O goddess of the gods, you can find enough of blue lotuses emitting sweet fragrance. There are grassy lands over the banks of the lakes, besides the trees, which are quite big and small. The saffron flowers increase and fragrance of the lake waters with which the lakes are full. The apricot trees, with their shaking branches, appear like dancing or otherwise removing the god of love. These lakes look beautiful with cranes and intoxicated chakravaka, ruddy goose, pairs of birds which appear quite fine. The place is filled with sweet humming sound of the black wasps which are blissful. Increase the passions, and the sound of the birds is echoing there. The guardian of the quarters like Indra, Kubera, Yama, Niriti, Agni, and Varuna, as well as Marut and the Supreme Lord Isha, frequently visit the place. The abodes of all the Devas are located at the peak of the Meru mountain, together with the abodes of the guardian of quarters. The beautiful celestial damsels like Rambha, Shachi, Menaka, and other apsaras can also be found there. Do you want to live at Mahagiri, which is the best of all the mountains, which is exceedingly beautiful and seems as the essence of all the mountains? The goddess Indrani, with all the apsaras, would be at your service daily. Or Would you like to live over Kailasa, around which the city of Kubera is lodged? Or would you like to live at a place where the auspicious and clean water of the Ganga flows like the full moon, or in the caves where the Brahmana Brahmana girls sing the beautiful and sweet songs? This place is filled with various types of deer, having hundreds of blossomed lotus flowers, possessing all the virtues and the padarthas, and which is more beautiful than the Sumeru mountain. Which place out of those spoken by me above is liked by you? You tell me. I shall at once build an abode for you there. Brahma said. After these words of Shiva, Sati slowly mentioned about the place where she wanted to live. Sati said, I would like to live with you in Himalaya. Therefore, you kindly have the house built there. You kindly have the house built here. Brahma said, listening to the words of Sati, Shiva was delighted, and he, accompanied with Sati, went to the peak of the Himalaya mountain, the place where the woman of the Siddhas are lodged, which is beyond the reach of the birds, even where there are enough of lakes filled with lotus flowers, the place which looked pleasant with the different types of flowers. Shiva, having the temperament of the rising sun, sat at the place with Sati. The mountain was bright like the crystal or mica, having enough of grassy land besides the trees. There were several types of lakes and flowers. The trees were laden with fruits over which the black wasps were issuing the humming sound. The white as well as the blue lotus flowers were blossoming there. The intoxicated chakravaka, ruddy birds, kadambas, swans, geese, the intoxicated cranes and peacocks were found there. The people with the sweet voice of the cuckoos reverberated there. Several types of semi-divine beings like Ashwamukhas, Siddhas, Guhyakas and Apsaras roamed about at that place. The Vidyadharis and Kinnaris were also roaming about at that place besides the mountain damsels and girls. The divine damsels played on their lutes, tambourine and drums, dancing with enthusiasm. Thus the mountain had enough of beautiful women, charming lakes, fragrant flowers, and the groves of full blown flowers. In the place which was pleasant like the heaven, Shiva dwelt there for 10,000 divine years, delightfully with Sati. Shiva sometimes went to some other place and sometimes at the peak of the Sumeru mountain, which was surrounded by the gods and goddesses. Sometimes he went to the islands, orchards, forest and earth, and returning from there, he lived with Sati, comfortably roaming about in the forest. Shiva was so much absorbed in the love of Sati that he discarded yajnas, or Vedas, or the penance. Sati stood into the face of Shiva throughout the day and night, while Lord Shiva did so in the face of Sati. Thus, Sati spent her time by looking at the face of Shiva, and Mahadeva also looked at the face of Sati, always at everywhere. Thus, with their mutual association, developed the tree of love, pouring the water of emotions. Iti Shri Shiva Mahapurane Dvitiyayaং Rudra Samhitayaং Dvitiye Sati Khande Shiva Vihara Varnanang Nama Dvavingshodhyayah.